Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'm Amanda of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room. In today's video we're going to be making this wallet style card. It's suitable for teenagers or for gentlemen, and it's actually designed to open up so that you can put either money in it or a gift card or a little note, something like that, and it's got several opening pockets. There's a little bit of scoring, a little bit of cutting, but no stamping unless you actually want to put a greeting on the front. So let's get started. Just so you know, all of the measurements and directions will be on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, should I say, if you click see more, you'll be able to see them there. And there'll also be a link to my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com, and there will be links there as well with all the measurements on. So don't worry if you don't sort of get it down as you're watching. I'm using chocolate chip cardstock, and I have a slightly darker brown marker pen, which is Early Espresso. I've got a piercing mat, a ruler, and a piercing tool. And what else have I got? Oh, I've got layering squaring? It's not even a word. Layering square framelets. We're going to use that to make an oblong, so I'll explain about that in a minute. We're going to be using the envelope punch board because I need a corner rounder and a simply scored board as well, and a bone folder. I think that's everything. So what we're going to do first is go through all the cardstock sizes. So this first piece is, I've got my list here, 9 inches by 3.5, then 8.5 by 3.25. Then we have got this one, 3.5 by 2 3/4. Then two pieces that are 4 inches, one which is by 2.5 and one by 1.5. Okay, so the only scoring is on these two larger pieces. So the largest one, the 9-inch one, we are going to score at 4 1/4 inch. And 4 3/4, and on the next size down we're going to score at 4 and at 4.5. Okay, so that's all the scoring we're going to do. The next thing we're going to do is use envelope. Oh dear, my words are coming out all strange today. Envelope punch board. And it's really cool. If you've not seen it before, I've got quite a few videos using this. It's great for envelopes, but we can use it for lots of other things as well. But this piece here is for corner rounding. So let me just pop that in. So you put the cardstock in, make sure it's nice and square, punch, and look, perfect corner. So we're going to do that on all 4 pieces, or 4 corners, and the same on this other piece. When you're punching quite a few pieces, make sure you just move the debris out of the way, so otherwise it gets stuck here. I think yeah, I'm gonna punch all these inside pieces as well. It just gives it a nice finish. It just takes a second to do it. So that piece. Okay. So that's those 2 pieces, this piece. Now, this piece, this is the 3.5 by 2 3/4. We're actually going to cut an oblong out of there. You can see just here, and we're going to put some window sheet in it. So I'll just get the big shot. I'm using the layering squares framelits, and what I'm going to do is pop it down so it's got an even gap all the way around. I'll just move my chair back a bit and then run it through the big shot. Don't worry about the clunking. My big shot always clunks. And then pop that out, and then what you're actually going to do is pop it back in again so that it's even. On both sides, and then put the plate on and then run it through the big shot again. Okay. Right, so we don't need the big shot of that anymore. So this piece of window sheet is actually going to go behind there. So now what we've got to do is the thing that takes the time, and that is all this stitching around the edge. Now you've seen these mats, I've used them before with the photopolymer stamps, and it's actually called a Stampin' Pierce mat, and I have several of them. And some of them, like this one, you can see it's covered in holes, I use for paper piercing. And then I have some others that I don't use for that at all, I just use them for stamping. So you don't need one, you need two, really. And what you're going to do is you are going to put your ruler at I want to say about 1/8 of an inch down-ish. And then you are just going to make holes. And it's just a case of making lots and lots of little holes. Now this is going to take some time, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to do this piece, and then I'm gonna whiz the video on for you guys at home, and if I can work out how to do it, I might be able to fast forward it. We'll see. But definitely I don't want you to sit there and watch me make holes in all of the pieces, because we will be here for quite some time. But I have to say, it's actually really therapeutic to do it. Obviously I've not got any music on now because I'm videoing, but you know, if you've got your favourite soap opera that you can kind of watch out the corner of your eye, or put some music on and you can just sit and make holes. Now some of you will like all of the holes to be evenly spaced, and I absolutely understand that, but that isn't the way that I do it. I just kind of randomly guess, and we have a saying at my class that straight is overrated. But I really do understand lots of people actually really like everything to be evenly spaced, and if you do, then by all means measure it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wing it. So I've just got about 2/3 of the way through. So that's on this piece. And then this final bit and it doesn't sort of detract from this, but it kind of looks like it's hand stitched, so it's okay. Okay, so you are going to pierce holes all the way around this larger piece and this piece for definite. If you want to, and I'm actually going to do it on this one for you, you can actually do it on all of these pieces as well, okay? So, and this one as well if you want to, it's up to you. But I'm just going to show you how to finish it off, and then, like I said, what I'll do is I'll do the whizzing forwards for you. So what you're actually going to do is you're going to take your marker and put it in one of the holes and pull it towards you gently, and what you're doing is you're just letting it find its own line in between the two holes, and it basically looks like a line of stitching, and you can see how wonky it is. See how wonky mine is, certainly. Don't be tempted to rush this bit, and don't use the thick marker tip. Okay, if you've got Stampin' Up! Markers, couple of top tips. The first one is always store them lying down, because inside these markers is a reservoir that goes all the way from one side to the other. So if you store them one way up or the other way up, the other end dries out. So do that. There's a thick white line and a thin white line. The thick white line is the brush tip, and the thin white line is what you're going to use, which is the fine marker. Now you can refill these using Stampin' Up! Inks, because everything colour coordinates and the inks work. If you want to know how to do that, then I'll put a link to the video in the see more bit at the bottom in YouTube, and I'll link it to that so you'll be able to see how to refill your markers. Okay, so let's just carry on with this stitching. And honestly, it's amazing what a difference making a few holes and using a marker pen does. So we're almost there. Last side. Okay, right, so I'm going to do the others and I will be back with you shortly. Okay, so that is all the paper piercing done, all the stitching done. So now all we've got is the assembly to do, and it is very quick and simple, but what I would like you to think about is what you're going to put in the card. If you're going to put in some notes, then you're best to leave this section open, which is what I'm going to do. And the same with these, if you might be putting a card in. I always leave this bit open because I like to put a little greeting and things inside there. So what we'll do is we'll put the acetate, the window sheet in first. Tombo's brilliant for everything, is the best. And what you want to do is run the glue all the way around the edge. And actually I didn't tell you how big the window sheet was. It's 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then what you're going to do is just squish it down and just press it down firmly all around those edges. It will just take a minute for it to grab, but that will stick fine. So then the largest piece is the outer, and the slightly smaller piece is the inside. Now what I'm actually going to do first is just score the use the bone folder on these score lines, just so I know that they are well folded. And what I'm going to do is you'll see I'm going to line it up so it's sort of even in the centre, but then I'm just going to move it a tiny bit left and right, so it's actually there's can you see there's kind of a little gap at the bottom, not at the bottom, in the middle. Just let me hold it again. So I'm going to move those two pieces just side to side so it leaves a little gap. You can see here you need a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to put glue on the bottom and one edge, and then the bottom and one edge. And like I say, position the centerpiece and then pop that down and just move it a tiny bit. It's not even 1/4 of an inch, it's a tiny amount, just to give you that gap. So let's just move that over a tiny bit and then give it a good old press. Good old press down. So this piece is now stuck down there. Now we've got these two pieces. So these pieces are actually going to be so that you can put cards and things in. So I'm going to stick one on top of the other, the smaller piece first. And again, I'm using Tombow and I'm making a U shape of the glue and then popping it over the top like so. Give it a good press down. And again, then another U shape on this piece, and then that is going to sit on there and just make that pocket. So you've actually got two pockets then, so you've got one here and one here, but I need to press it down first. And then finally this piece, and again that is going to go on the inside, and again put the glue in a U shape. And what I'm actually going to do with this piece is, and I did it with this one, is use double-sided tape. Basically the window sheet is almost to the edge, and if I put the glue on in a U shape, if I put the Tombow on, it won't grab because there's two layers there. So this is the fabulous Stampin' Up! Tear and tape, and I'll put it all the way along. That's great because it does what it says on the tin and you actually tear it. You don't need scissors, and it doesn't gum your scissors up. A lot of tapes, when you have, because you have to cut them, it makes your scissors sticky. Right, so that's one piece, that's the second piece, and then I'm just going to put it along the bottom. So again, it's in a U shape so that you can get access to the top. If you struggle a bit like I'm doing with the nail polish that I've got on, it's making it more tricky, use your piercing tool, and then you can just grab hold of the liner and lift it off. Okay, and then this one, let me just tuck those edges of tape in, and then that one's going to go on there like that, and there is your completed wallet card. So as I said, on the original one I'd actually stamped a happy birthday, so you can stamp a greeting on. If you're gonna stamp on it, make sure you do that before you assemble it, because it's quite dimensional. You don't want to try and stamp it afterwards. I really like it with all the stitching, but obviously that takes a bit of time. You've got this section here, and just to clarify, when I was actually sticking that middle bit in, I don't actually put glue. I'm hoping the camera's going to be able to pick this up. I don't actually put glue on that very centre piece, so there is sort of a gap there. And then obviously you've got your pockets here as well. I hope you've enjoyed today's project, making this wallet card. You will find all the measurements on YouTube. If you just click under the video, it says see more, and click there and all of the details will be there. You'll also find a direct link to my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com, and that will also take you to the page that actually this project's on, so you'll be able to get all the details there. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that you've seen today, on my blog there is an online store, so you can shop there. Do remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you'll be the first to hear about all of my new videos. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.